Hi, welcome back to Family Art Project's Depth and Distance series. Today we're going to go over what it means to be resourceful and what it means to carry our needs and tools with us. So we're going to be exploring these ideas by literally carrying our tools, little messages of affirmations by creating these little bags or pouches from old clothes and filling these bags full of messages to ourselves that we want to carry forward into the future, and having them all zipped up and in our back pockets for us to grab at any time. So this month we're also celebrating that 100 years ago, women in the United States won the right to vote. So in this video, when we think about what we're going to be carrying forward in our future, we're going to be celebrating this win by learning about something called ecofeminism. Ecofeminism, what a word, right? What does that mean? Ecofeminism. So first of all, the word feminism means that all genders are equal. And this means that no matter how you identify, male, female, a blend of genders, or not identifying with any gender at all, you know that you have the same access to opportunities, like having a home, going to and from where you need to go safely, being part of decision-making processes like voting, or having an environment around you where you're breathing in fresh, clean air, drinking cold, clean water. And this is where that word ecofeminism comes in. Ecofeminism is an idea that many women have gotten together to think about to understand the similarities between the mistreatment of women and the mistreatment of our earth when only men are making decisions. So, with all this said, we're going to think about what it means to carry forward the wisdom of women that came before us, and to think about how we can further demand care and liberation for our earth and women. And we'll be carrying these little pouches, these ideas in our back pockets and little pouches or bags. And so let's get on started in creating our bags. So here you'll see I've created a little pouch to carry messages that I would like to carry forth as a woman to give me strength as I continue to advocate for new ways of caring for the earth based on my experience for how I'd like to be cared for, or how I know I can care for others as a woman. I'll be creating a little pouch made from the back pocket of old jeans to remind me that the tools I need can often just be found in my back pocket. I'm thinking about the tools I can reach for as a woman to care for the earth, but you may have your own experience in understanding how the earth needs to be cared for. This is a good opportunity to note that while we celebrate that women won the right to vote 100 years ago, and as we celebrate ecofeminism, some women, namely white women, didn't think about how they'd support the rights of others. And so they made sure that they got the right to vote, but then didn't support Black or Indigenous women in their right to vote. Which is why exactly we're making the bags to carry forward in the future. What tools from history will we bring with us as we move into the future, and as we support others and support a care for the earth and bring new life to these ideas? Sometimes when we experience hurt, it opens our eyes to new possibilities of other ways of being that don't include that hurt. Have you ever felt hurt and knew that there might be a better way of being in the world that lets you live a little more freely? Hold on to that wisdom you have, because that is going to be fuel for the messages that you write to carry in your pouch or bag. So there are actually quite a number of ways that you can make a pouch or bag for your affirmations. And what I'm doing here is just taking an old jeans and cutting them and just using the two back pockets. And while I sew them together, you can also staple or glue, super glue. And then I have a zipper that I got from a little fabric store that you can find anywhere, or take from an old piece of clothing. And actually my needle wasn't quite strong enough, so I glued the zipper in. But again, you can use scissors. Maybe if you have a big, strong needle, you can sew it in there and try your sewing skills. The idea is that you want to use old clothes that you can upcycle to show your resourcefulness. Or maybe, instead of old clothes, you want to use plastic bags and weave them together into a new pouch or bag. Like activist Isatou Ceesay of the Gambia, who, with other women from the Gambia, collected the plastic bags that littered her town and transformed them into works of art that she could sell and make money for the women in her community. So here's my pouch and its contents. The affirmations say, "Be wild. That is how to clear the river." That's a quote by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Another, "No one is free until we are all free. Softness is a superpower. The earth loves you back."
Hello everyone. Here's a bag I've made by repurposing some of my old clothes. You're going to see the process and how I made it, but we'll time-lapse through. It's very simple, but I really hope it builds on the inspiration you may have gotten from this video thus far to see how creative you can get with reusing materials to make a bag. I'm going to use 2 different shirts to make this bag. I could make a bag from this one shirt alone, but I want to make it multi-patterned. It's really fun that way visually. I'm cutting the shirt into a rectangle with the buttons on top. This way, I can have the buttons as a way to open and close my bag. With this next shirt, I'll do the same as before and cut the fabric to the same size. I'm cutting on the side of the shirt where the space for the buttons to go into are. Again, I want to use the buttons to open and close the bag, and in order to do that, we need space for the buttons to go through. Once we have the 2 pieces cut, we'll sew them together. At the end, I'll flip the bag inside out, so the seams do not show. That means when I sew the pattern that I want to be on the outside, I'll need to have it facing inside. The sewing process isn't anything fancy. It's simple. We're just threading a needle and going through one end and out the other. I'll continue this to all sides of the fabric except the side where the buttons will be. Now our bag is completely sewn together. You can see the seams from the thread, so as promised, we'll flip that inside out as our final step. The process is always fun, but now let's see how well the buttons function when we try to close it. Not bad, I'd say. Now that we know it works, I think it's time I figure out what will I carry in this bag that will allow me to be an advocate for feminism and promote the resourcefulness of women that we see throughout ecofeminism.